Why is everyone always talking about how slow the steering is on the E36? Needing to swap Z3 racks and all that crap? I don't know what you're talking about. Bunch of dummies if you ask me. I'll just be turning right now. Oh shoot, there's traffic coming. Come on. They're 500 yards away. I don't think I can make it. Today's video is absolutely not sponsored by Easy Rider lawnmower steering wheel handles. But it does bring to your attention pretty much the biggest thing I have disliked about driving the E36 since the day I bought it. There are a whole lot of things I like about driving the E36. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't think so. But there's one thing that I really do not like. In fact, I hate it. The one thing that's not great, the steering. Don't get me wrong, it communicates really well, and you can tell what's going on with the road. But if it was any slower, I don't know, you'd be driving a freaking tractor or something. But you know what? I'm gonna make my steering 40% quicker, at least from the first lock, and I'm not gonna be swapping in a freaking steering rack. In fact, I think that what is inside this box is gonna make my steering much faster than if I swapped in a Z3 rack, and a heck of a lot easier. Just watch, I say it's easier, but in about a half an hour from now, I'm not gonna be thinking that. This, my friends, is basically half of an SLR angle kit. Now, angle kit makes you think that I'm just going for a bunch of steering angle. I'm not. The SLR angle kits and a lot of other angle kits, but I like SLRs the most, comes with a lot of other benefits besides just giving you a bunch of angle, which I'm actually not gonna get any of. It relocates a few things to not only give you 40% faster steering within the first lock of the steering wheel, but it also allows you to adjust Ackerman for race or drift. And because it changes the location of a few other things, it corrects roll center for you as well if you have a lowered car, like I'd say I do. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this right here is where the tie rod for your steering rack would typically bolt up to. But it doesn't bolt there anymore, because here's where the tie rod is. It locates it in a different place, which is what really gives you that faster steering. They are solid, and you can tell these are gonna last a long time. And it doesn't feel like they're gonna break at all, no matter how hard you abuse them. The nice thing is too, because I have this quick steer kit, if I ever decide that I wanna get some angle and push my wheels out a little bit further, I can just buy the arms and then I'm already set to go with the other half of the kit. Now, a lot of people end up running the E46 control arms, and I guess I could do that, but for now, I'm just gonna leave them stock and see how that goes. With this car, I feel like I should only have to turn the wheel this much to get it to do what you actually have to turn the wheel this much to do. Part of what makes a car fun to drive is a lot of quick response and feedback from the road. When I install the quick steering kit into this car, I'm going to have to turn the steering wheel a lot less, but the wheels are gonna turn a lot more because of it. And also, what comes along with that naturally is the fact that anytime that there's any changes in the road, you're gonna feel it more because it's gonna move the wheel a lot more than it used to. So I am hoping that installing this kit is not only gonna make the car more fun to drive and more responsive, but it's also gonna make me a little better of a driver. And I have the feeling that once I get this installed in the car and I go for my first drive, I'm gonna realize I should have done this as one of the first mods I ever bought for the stupid car. I mean, the awesome car. The awesome car. Secret, I have no idea what I'm doing. I pretty much never do. A lot of you guys message me and ask me for help or diagnostics and stuff like that. Most of the stuff I do, I'm doing for the very first time. So if I can do it, you can do it. Check this out. Maybe this will give you a better idea about how all the stuff's installed. SLR in their infinite wisdom knows we're all stupid, so they put left and right on their pieces here, and you can't mistake which one they are. You're sitting in the car, looking facing forward, left means driver's side. You can tell that this piece is what will go through your knuckle where the control arm typically goes through. This piece here is obviously what's gonna connect with the tie rod, and then this is the piece I was talking about that'll bolt up to your steering knuckle here up front. Ooh, there we go. I do, however, have to get this ball joint to go out, and if something in this combination that I rented from AutoZone won't work, I think that means I'm gonna be pretty screwed. Hey! After almost killing myself, we have these new ball joints in, and these other joints that came with the SLR mini kit. And let me tell you, if you don't have access to a press, or at the very least, some of these tools that I use to get ball joints in and out, I would definitely not recommend doing that yourself. It was really easy to get the ball joints out, and let me show you. All I did was cut these tips off and then use the tools I had, plus my electric impact to get those all pressed out. But getting those suckers back in absolutely sucked. It was really hard to get those to go in straight because they kept wanting to press sideways. It'd have been way easier if I had a press, but man, I don't know if I would do that again without, you know, a press and having better tools. But now that they're in, we're to the good part. I can start putting this stuff back in and getting this all together so that we can go for a drive and see just how big of a difference the SLR mini kit is gonna make on how this BMW E36 M3 drives.
Dang. Does that look sick or what?
Oh yeah. My dudes, it has been a lot longer than I'd like to admit, to be honest. And as you might have been able to tell, there have been some pretty big changes on the channel, but we're not gonna talk about that in today's episode. That's gonna be for next time, but obviously I'm excited to talk to you guys about it, give you all the details. But anyways, so I've had some time to drive this thing around and form some opinions on what I think about this and if it's worth the money and how I would compare it to like doing a rack swap and stuff like that. In just a minute, I'm gonna show you guys where I feel like it makes the biggest difference, and that's when I'm drifting. So we're gonna do a couple slides. You'll see that just to like catch the wheel and to move it around, there's so much less input to get the wheels to do what you want it to do that it makes catching a slide or controlling the slide so much easier. First of all, out of the gate, before we even do any driving, let me tell you guys, I have been absolutely loving this quick steer kit from SLR. It has made such a huge difference in the way that this car drives. And when I first bought it, the thing that I hated most about the car was the freaking slow steering, and this has done such a great job getting rid of that. I can tell you for sure that if you're looking to quicken your steering, the Z3 rack will help a little bit, but it's not gonna make it as fast as you're gonna get with this SLR mini kit. And I didn't show this on camera, but I did have to install some rack limiters, these little like plastic spacers that come with the kit, because my tire was smashing the inside of the fender, but that's understandable. I always felt like whenever I was drifting, the steering wheel was freaking going all over the place. Just because to be able to turn the wheels a certain amount, you have to turn the wheels so much. The rack on the E36, it's no secret, is so dang slow. Now let me do a U-turn for you guys here, and you'll just see how little I have to turn the wheel. Okay, this is full lock. You barely have to turn the wheel to get the tires to move, and that makes such a huge difference when you're driving the car through canyons and taking turns. Oh my gosh, it just feels bam, bam, so much more responsive. The one negative that I've found is the steering, well maybe it's not even a negative, it doesn't bother me at all, but it might bother you, is the steering takes a little bit more effort. You do have to move it a little bit harder to get it to move, but it's not like you have to muscle it or anything. You definitely still feel like you have power steering. All right, boys. I think we have reached that point. Let's try a little drift. Oh my gosh, did you see how little I had to move the wheel for that? Jeez. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh, my black lines are huge from that last drift. Woohoo! Just another reason why I'd recommend this over a rack swap when you're just talking about value for the money, you're not just quickening the steering ratio. You're also, if you've lowered your car, this is gonna be a great mod to do because it corrects your roll center, which is a big deal. I was able to soften up my springs a lot more and have a more compliant ride with still having less body roll, and that's a big plus when you drive the car the way that I do. And also, it corrects bump steer. When I'm driving on the freeway and I'm hitting bumps and in, I guess, undulations in the road, the steering wheel just stays straight and tracks true. It's not moving around all over the place like it used to. When you lower the car super low, you're changing the geometry of your suspension so much that it gives you some negative results, and this just corrects all of that. Just a few days ago, I drove my friend's M235i, and the steering in that thing is so sharp, and honestly, that's like the modern day 3 Series, because it's about the exact same size as an E36, even though it's a 2 Series. The cars have gotten so much bigger, jeez. But anyways, I hopped in that car, and the steering felt remarkably fast, like so much better than the E36 used to be, and now going back and forth between these two cars, my old 99 E36 has the same type of steering that I get in that new M235i. Gosh, look at this. I'm just cruising down the road at like 50 miles an hour, going back and forth. Holy crap, oh, my bag's flying around everywhere. It's so sharp, I love it. I've done a lot of other mods to the steering, but this has by far made the biggest difference. Now, I'm not saying that you can buy skill, nor am I saying that I am skilled at this at all. But there are some tools that you can buy, like that make working on a car easier, or some equipment that you can buy that's going to make you better at what you're doing. This is one of those things. Sorry for the loud train, but I kind of want to do a little bit of it. A roll here. Oh my gosh. These cold air temps, man, I'm telling you, this winter is like power days. Oh, dang, this thing's quick. Oh, and you can see too, it self-steers great. Like, it comes back to center. I still have great feedback. Honestly, I think I got better feedback from the steering wheel after doing this kit. Moral of the story is, if you guys are looking to drastically quicken the steering ratio in the E36, I personally think that this is the way to go. You're gonna get a little bit heavier steering, but besides that, I mean, if you even see that as a negative, everything is positives. And I've even heard people swapping the Z3 racks in and saying that they can kind of tell a difference and it's not that big, even if they're verifying that they're putting the right rack in. So there's no way that you would install this thing and not feel a huge difference in it. I love it. It's one of my favorite mods I've ever done on this car. Just like a lot of things I've been saying recently, I wish I would have done this right when I bought it, because every time I drive this car, I drive it kind of like I'm driving it today, and this mod just makes it's so useful with this kind of stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope that gave you some good information with one of the Achilles heels, if you ask me, about the E36. So if you guys buy this, it's definitely something that I personally recommend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We have some major things to talk about.